About 70% of people who set goals never achieve them. That's a huge number. But unfortunately, it's not surprising. If you've ever felt stuck, knowing you're capable of so much more, yet unable to break through, it's not because you don't have the skills, the talent, the time, or even the effort. The truth is something deeper is holding you back. Invisible forces, emotional and mental blocks, are sabotaging your progress from the inside out. I've been there. I remember a time when I had everything I needed. I had the passion. I had the knowledge. I had a very clear plan for where I wanted to go. But no matter how much I prepared or pushed forward, it felt like I kept hitting this invisible wall. It wasn't about lacking drive or skills. It was something internal, something inside me that kept pulling me back. Every time I got close to a breakthrough, that same feeling of doubt and hesitation would creep back in. And suddenly, I was stuck again. And let me tell you, that is one of the most frustrating feelings in the world, especially when you know deep down that you're capable of so much more. We've all been there. Type yes in the comments if you've been there. We set big goals. What's your goal? Whether it's our business, our relationship, our personal lives. We get excited. We make a plan. That's my favorite part. And then we start taking action. But then out of nowhere, doubt sneaks in. We start second guessing ourselves, wondering if we're good enough. Are we really capable of achieving these big dreams? We hear things like, feel the fear and do it anyway, or just step into your power. But let's be real. It's not always that simple. The blocks we're dealing with aren't just about mindset. They are deeply rooted in our emotions and our subconscious beliefs. These are invisible barriers that have been built over time from past failures, painful experiences, and they just keep pulling us back into these old patterns of self-sabotage. Hi, I'm Jenny Hayes, and I've been helping heart-led entrepreneurs start and grow and scale their businesses so they can share their gifts with the world in a way that feels authentic and aligned. But what I found after working with countless women is that it's not about knowing more, it's not about doing more, or even buying yet another class. Ask me, I've spent thousands. It's about addressing those hidden emotional and mental blocks that are keeping you from stepping fully into your potential. I worked with one client named Sarah. She was an absolutely incredible woman. She dreamed of being a health coach. She was full of wisdom and passion. She had a fully functional and profitable private practice as a therapist. She'd done all the training. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. But every time she got close to launching her business, something would stop her. She'd start questioning herself. Am I really good enough? Does anybody really want to work with me? Will anyone actually pay me for this? And suddenly she'd find herself delaying her launch, reworking her plans, and stalling her progress. Sarah knew she was capable, but something deeper was holding her back. Every time she tried to move forward, these emotional blocks would come up and stop her in her tracks. And if you're here today, I'm guessing you've experienced this too. Take a couple seconds and put me too if you've had this issue. You know you were meant for more, but those invisible forces keep you stuck in the same loop of self-doubt and hesitation. Now, for just a moment, I want you to imagine your brain as a fortress. And there's sentries that are guarding the gate into your brain. And every time a new thought comes in, like, I'm capable of doing this, or I'm ready to take that next step, these sentries stop it at the gate. Hold up, they say. Let's check the records first. They go rifling through the archives. They pull out every mistake, every failure, every painful existence you've ever had. Nope, they yell back. She's not ready. Remember that time in 2005 when she tried to start going to the gym and she didn't keep going? Remember how horrible that was when her husband called her on it? Remember that time when she tried to go start that business and she never actually made any money? Oh, that hurt too much. We can't let that happen again. So they block that new belief. They send it right back where it came from. The problem is these sentries are working with outdated information. They are stuck on the stories of your past, including old data that they use to protect you from failure. And every time you try to move forward, they pull up those old files and they stop you in your tracks. And some of these stories are so old that you don't even know where they came from or why they're there. But this is how limiting beliefs work. You might have a belief like, I'm not good enough, or I'll just fail if I try. And the sentries in your brain are just going to reinforce that belief by going and pulling up all those times in your life when things didn't go as planned. Even though you've grown, you've evolved, and you've had some success in life, the sentries are still clinging to the past. We've all experienced this. Every time we set big goals, those old beliefs pop up. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. And our brain goes to work, finding all the reasons why that belief is true. It's like a broken record that just keeps playing the same old story over and over. The traditional way to deal with these limiting beliefs is to work with the sentries. We retrain them. We tell ourselves, no, wait a minute, I am good enough. Look at all the things I've accomplished. And while it works, it's a slow process. We are trying to build new neural pathways and rewire the brain, but it takes time. Sometimes months, sometimes years. And that's exactly where I was. I kept trying to retrain my sentries, telling them to look over here. Look at this new evidence. Stop bringing up all that old trash. But it felt like a never-ending battle. I would make progress, but it was slow, and it felt like I was constantly fighting against myself. Then I discovered brain spotting, and everything changed. Instead of working with the sentries, brain spotting allowed me to bypass them altogether. It helped me to tap into the deeper parts of my brain where these emotional blocks were stored, and it allowed me to process them in a way that finally cleared the path forward. So what makes brain spotting so powerful? Well, to understand that, we have to talk about how the brain stores emotional experiences. Yay, Buckies. When we experience intense emotions, whether from stress, trauma, disappointment, our brain doesn't always process these emotions fully. Instead, sometimes they get stuck in the limbic system, which is often referred to as the lizard brain. This is what we see in PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. The limbic system is responsible for all of our survival instincts, our emotional reactions, especially those that seem to come up from nowhere and are like way over the top, and our fight or flight or fawn responses. When something overwhelming happens, the lizard brain will take over. It is great at keeping us alive in moments of danger, but it is not so great at processing complex emotions. It doesn't think that your cortex can handle it either, and that's the part that usually processes these emotions into memory. It allows it to be stored so that way it can be handled, right? So those unprocessed, actually it's the amygdala, but let's not get too deep into anatomy, right? So those unprocessed emotions get stuck in that subconscious, in that lizard brain, creating patterns of procrastination, doubt, self-sabotage. These blocks aren't just in your mind though, they're also stored in your body, showing up as tension, stress, or even physical discomfort. Brain spotting allows us to bypass the conscious mind and access these deep, unprocessed emotions. By focusing on specific eye positions and where we feel the tension in our body, brain spotting helps us unlock and release these emotional blocks that sometimes have been stuck for years. The body keeps the score, as the saying goes. Emotional trauma doesn't just live in your mind. It's stored in your body. Places like your chest, your gut, your shoulders. I store it in my neck. And even if you can't consciously remember a painful experience, don't worry, your body's got you. It remembers. That's when you think about something stressful and you feel that tightness in your chest or a knot in your stomach. Your body is holding on to that unprocessed emotion. Brain spotting works with this body wisdom. It helps you tap into the subconscious emotions stored in your body and allows your brain to process and release them. Best part? Doesn't require you to relive painful memories or even talk about them in detail. Brain spotting lets your brain and body work together to clear the block, often in just a few sessions, sometimes just one. So here's the good news. You don't have to keep fighting the same battle over and over again. You don't have to spend years retraining those centuries trying to convince them to let new beliefs through. With tools like brain spotting, you can bypass those gatekeepers, clear the emotional blocks, and finally move forward, often in just a few sessions. Brain spotting does require more time and is usually done one-on-one. But if you're not quite ready for that yet, that's okay. There's still another way to get started working on these blocks. We can kind of prime the system to be ready. So let's walk through a powerful method to start shifting those limiting beliefs by starting to retrain those centuries guarding your mind. Step 1. I want you to identify the false belief. Just pick one that's been holding you back. It really works best when we work one at a time. It might be something like, I'm not good enough, or I always fail, I never have good ideas, my whole family is this way, I'm always going to be this way. It could be anything. And most people will actually hear the voice. Don't worry, it doesn't mean you're crazy. Close your eyes. Focus on that voice. Focus on the words for just a moment. How does this belief feel in your body? Do you feel that tightening in your chest? Do you feel a knot in your stomach? Remember that discomfort is your body's way of signaling that there's something stuck there. It knows that that belief is not true. It is false. Our bodies don't lie. They react to false beliefs with that tension, anxiety, discomfort. Because deep down, they know the belief doesn't align with the truth of who we are. Step 2, determine the truth. Now I want you to take that limiting belief and ask yourself, what is the real truth here? For example, if the false belief is, I'm not good enough, the truth might simply be, I am more than enough. Or maybe it's, I've proven time and time again that I can succeed. Sometimes the truth is just the opposite of the false belief. It doesn't have to be. Trust what resonates with you. Listen to your body. When you land on the truth, you'll feel a sense of relief or ease. That's how you know you found the belief that aligns with your true self. Step 3, gather the evidence. Now it's time to back up this truth with solid proof. Write down as many examples as you can to support that truth. The more specific, the better. For example, instead of writing, "I've built meaningful relationships with people who love and value me," say something like, "My husband of 15 years still adores me. My stepchildren love me, in spite of the fact that I'm a stepmom, I have friends who will be with me through thick and thin." Name them. Put them down name by name by name. Provide the proof. If it's for failure, maybe it's, "I've succeeded in projects that matter." And then go into the specifics. "I did this project and I did this project." Put the year if that helps. Anything that will give it an anchor. Each piece of evidence reinforces the truth, giving it more weight and authority in your mind. This step is crucial because it starts the process of rewiring your brain, showing those centuries that there's updated data. Step 4, let's retrain those centuries. Now that when that limiting belief tries to sneak in, it becomes your job to catch it. Imagine those centuries coming back with that old story. "Hey, remember that time that you tried that diet and you did it for 3 days? You sucked." Let's block this and think, "You know what? I'm ready this time. Hold on. That story is outdated. Let me give you the real data." And then you start listing all the evidence that supports your truth. "I've succeeded before and I'll succeed again." Again, the more detail, the better. "I've faced bigger challenges and still thrived." Over time, as you repeatedly present the new evidence to your centuries, they'll stop defaulting to those old stories. And they'll start operating from that updated truth. Now, that's a lot of steps, and I've created a free guide for you. Break Free from Invisible Barriers, your quick guide to clearing emotional blocks. This guide is going to take you through those steps in detail, give you a worksheet to put them on, and it's also going to cover some more strategies like the one we just explored, plus a few deeper techniques, including brain spotting, that can help you clear those blocks even faster. I'm going to add that link so you can get your copy. It'll be in the comments after this live. I'm also going to include a link to my free 30-minute masterclass on clearing blocks, and as well as my website, so you can find out more about brain spotting and how it works fast to clear blocks that are keeping you stuck. Now, you didn't set these goals by accident. Deep down, you know you're meant for more. Whether it's your business, your relationships, or your personal health or personal growth. But to reach these goals, you have to clear the blocks that are holding you back. It's time to let go of those limitations that are keeping you stuck. Together we can clear those emotional and mental barriers so you can finally move forward into the life you're meant to live. So download the guide, start this journey with me. Your future is waiting. You are powerful beyond measure. And when you clear the blocks inside, nothing will stop you from creating the success and impact that you're destined for.